welcome back to my channel. It's Effie. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing my total knee replacement story. This year marks my 5-year anniversary or knee-anniversary, and it's a pretty big deal. So I wanted to also give my advice from a patient perspective. I'm not a medical professional by any means, but I feel that I've learned quite a lot these past 5 years, even before my surgery, and I would like to pass on that wisdom and spill the tea on all things knee surgery for those who may be undergoing the procedure themselves in the near future or know a loved one that is. Stay tuned because that's coming all right up. Last month over on my Instagram, Rising Above RA, I made a post on the day of my surgery, which happened to be on June 29th. It was sort of a gratitude post, being thankful that I can walk miles and miles, dance, swim, exercise. These are things that I was not able to do at all prior to surgery. I couldn't even walk 2 steps without having severe pain. In the comments, someone asked me how I knew it was time for knee surgery. This has been a question I've been asked quite a lot. It's a question that I've also asked others prior to getting knee surgery myself. Another person in the comments shared that they were about to get a TKR soon and were nervous, which is totally okay. I was nervous too. Everyone I've talked to was nervous, but in the end, it was worth it. I'll get into that and more later, but before I do, hit subscribe, join the rest of this Spoonie Star tribe, especially if you had knee surgery, a total knee replacement, which is what we are talking about today, and hit the bell to be notified every single time I post a new video. So learning that I needed knee surgery was simple and straightforward to an extent. It only was an easy process because I came in contact with an amazing rheumatologist. Prior to me finding out that I needed knee surgery, I had 2 horrible experiences with really bad doctors. These doctors saw that my knee was inflamed. I had to even beg a doctor to give me a cortisone injection in my knee that was swollen and painful. I don't know if that's because he was nervous to give it or inexperienced. I have had rheumatologists who wouldn't even flinch and would suggest that they give me a cortisone injection. And that's how you know the level of experience with a doctor. At least that's what I've noticed. Another doctor saw that my legs started changing. She never offered for me to go get an x-ray. There was just a lot of negligence, if I'm quite honest, and it felt like I was in the twilight zone. I eventually decided to leave one doctor and go to another one who I heard really good things about. I had been told he was a good doctor by someone I trusted as well, which made me feel a lot better. But it was a few months wait to get in to see him. So for those few months, it was agonizing pain, a really hard time for me. The first time that I saw this rheumatologist, and he's my old one now because long story short, he's retiring. He may have already retired and his hours were cut short and he wasn't really in the office as much. And I needed a doctor who was there quite often. I have a great doctor now too. So long story short, he looked at my knee and the first thing that he said was, before I recommend anything for your rheumatoid arthritis treatment, I want you to go see an orthopedic surgeon. You may need to just do some cleanup or hopefully they can fix this contracture without you needing anything like a knee replacement. He didn't know what I would need and that's why he sent me to a specialist. When I went to the knee surgeon, orthopedic surgeon, it was a 4-hour appointment. This knee surgeon has the tendency to take forever when he sees patients because he's in surgery on some days and he just does a lot of work with a lot of people. And I was sent to do an x-ray and then an MRI so they can see exactly what's going on. It was found that my knee was bone on bone, which wasn't surprising to me because at that point I couldn't straighten my leg at all. It was bent. I had never broken a bone, sprained anything, so it was a 0 to 100 experience for me and I needed to take a step back, get prepared, and I know looking back I could have done it sooner because I saw him in February and I did my surgery in June. So part of it was just me delaying it because I didn't feel ready. My advice is you will never be ready until you do it. Also, the knee surgeon said that it was up to me if I wanted to do the surgery. He was pushing for me to do it, not because he wanted the money or anything like that. He was a surgeon that had experience with difficult cases, because mine was, and younger patients. His youngest patient was 21 years old. He wanted me to live life again and be able to do the things that I was doing. That's not to say that people who have this situation going on are not living life. I was living life clearly before I had knee surgery, but it was difficult to go places. That's why I share my gratitude, and I thank God for having this opportunity at my fingertips. Science and engineering have come a long way with the knee and hip replacements too, which are the two most common replacements done. And if you are in the same boat as me, that should bring you comfort, because there are decades of research for knee replacements. So you don't need to worry that you won't be in good hands. For me, I think the biggest thing was being young and having to go through the recovery, because I constantly was told, oh, you're too young for a knee replacement. My surgeon, though, had a different opinion. He said, you're not too young, and I want you to be able to have your legs straight again. I want you to be able to walk again. I was pretty taken aback that this surgeon was advocating for me to get better. Knee surgeries, hip surgeries, replacements of any kind, they are known as an elective procedure. An elective procedure is not life or death. It doesn't have to be done immediately in most cases. Many people, they go for physical therapy, massage, acupuncture. They try to get stronger before surgery, which is what I did, and I would recommend it to you guys if you can do that. For physical therapy, they helped mobilize my knee. I exercised the muscle as much as I can. I had severe atrophy on my quad muscle and hamstrings. And that was the hardest part for me to rebuild, and I'm still rebuilding it after 5 years. Not to scare anyone, but when you don't work out, and at least for me, if I have a good streak of working out and I don't work out for a week, I lose my muscle that I built up, and that's just how my body is. Not everyone's body is that way. There was only so much that the physical therapist could do for me prior to surgery, and I went several times, and she's like, you're ready, go do it. And I did massage and acupuncture. That helped a lot. I did a lot of things. I feel that it's your personal choice when you want to do the surgery. No one can tell you when to do it except you. Unless it is life or death, then of course do it immediately. I have written about my knee replacement surgery and recovery more than I've talked about it. I wrote an article called The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly of a Total Knee Replacement, and another one on my blog, risingabovera.com, where I share the products that I used prior, during, and after surgery, even till this day. I'll link those two in the description box below so you guys can give them a read, and I go into more depth about my experience. Many of you may be wondering if the knee damage was something that happened suddenly, and it wasn't. I'm in my mid-30s right now. I started experiencing knee issues when I was 15 years old. I remember going on a camping and canoe trip and people telling me, what happened to your knee? And I looked down and it was the size of a melon. I had no idea what I did. From what I knew back then, I was healthy, active. I went home and it felt like I had sprained something, so I just took a brace that we had laying around, because I had a sibling who sprained their knee at one point while playing sports. I used that for about a week. I iced it and then it went away. And I didn't have any issues with my knee. Though I do remember during gym class when we would do activities, it would click sometimes. Nothing to the extreme, but I just noticed it in my right knee. And I was like, oh, that's weird. I don't know what that is. Every time I went to the doctor for my physical to see my pediatrician every year prior to school, she was like, everything's fine, you're good, and sent me home with no signs of RA or anything. Then in 2012, I experienced the worst flare of my life. I was bedridden for about a week. It took me 6 months to recover, and it was then that my knee started to slowly have more issues. In 2013 and then in 2014, I noticed that my knee was starting to have more pain on the medial side, which is the inner part of your knee, where a lot of the damage starts occurring for people who need a knee replacement. It was inflamed, and then I started noticing changes in my leg where it was visibly deformed to the point where I couldn't straighten it out. And it got worse and worse and worse, where I would be laying down on my bed, flat on my back, and I couldn't put my knee down. Eventually, it got to the point where I had to put a pillow under my leg during nighttime when I was sleeping. If I didn't, it would be painful. Sleeping at night was excruciating. I don't know if anyone who's watching has had this experience prior to knee surgery where you couldn't even move your leg without it hurting. That's what happened to me. I am really thankful that I was able to find a good doctor who sent me to this orthopedic surgeon. I wish that I was able to do it sooner. I wish that I was able to do it in 2014 when I first started having signs of damage. And I only say this because waiting too long is not the best. I found that a lot of parts of my body were becoming stressed out because of the imbalance in my knee. My hip was being stressed, my left ankle and foot from the pressure of limping was stressed out, my lower back. I found out about all of this when I moved to a different type of therapist. Before I get into talking about the physical therapist I was seeing after surgery, I quickly want to talk about the surgery itself. For a knee replacement, it lasts anywhere from an hour to 3 hours, with 1.5 hours being the sweet spot. For me, I was in surgery for the full 3 hours, and the orthopedic surgeon had an assistant with him, and the assistant was in charge of all the cleanup. I had a ton of soft tissue damage and synovitis and a bunch of other things before they closed me up, and I have some pictures here for you guys to see how the incision looked afterwards and everything. Prior to closing me up, I guess in the knee report that I read, my leg started to reject it and it wasn't going down. My knee surgeon promised me that he was going to make my leg straight. And when my leg was refusing to be straight before they put me in a brace, because when you get a knee replacement, they immediately put your leg in a brace and you're in that for the first couple of days. When my leg was not cooperating, they had to open me up again and cut some more bone off. The knee surgeon said that having a bone-on-bone knee is not the best. It was going to work against me. And that's why I say it's not the best to wait if you are able to, because when you have a bone-on-bone issue and you don't have any cartilage within the joint, it gives less for the surgeons to work with. If I had some cartilage, it would give some leeway for the surgeons to do their job better, and I would have a better outcome. When you are bone on bone, it's harder during recovery, and the movement may be more limited than if you were to have cartilage. I know that's not the case for everyone because everyone heals differently. When you are younger, you automatically build up more scar tissue and you heal faster. That's why you see a lot of older individuals in their 50s, 60s, and 70s healing well, not having a ton of scar tissue. Medical Medium mentions that if you have high Epstein-Barr virus markers, which is a viral infection in your body prior to knee surgery will be harder to recover from. I have talked about my EBV viral load issue extensively and many times. Because of the scar tissue that I built up, I had to go under anesthesia for manipulation, where the orthopedic surgeon bends your knee forcefully to break up the scar tissue. Before I had the manipulation, my bending was at 50 degrees, which is horrendous because you need 90 degrees to at least get up from a chair. My left leg, which is my good leg, can bend up to 140. So that was a severe discrepancy right then and there. I had no other choice but to do a manipulation. I later found out from the therapist that I later saw that she helped a lot of knee patients avoid manipulations. sessions. She has increased my mobility of my bending so much, more than any other therapist. After knee surgery, I was taken to the recovery room and I happened to take my sweet time waking up. Don't know why, but I felt like I was one of those characters in a TV show or movie where they open their eyes and they see people looking at them and then they close their eyes again. That happened to me a few times. I remember seeing the nurse and my surgeon at the foot of my bed. I ended up breaking out in rashes while I was asleep still. I don't know why either. They couldn't really tell me what was causing that. They said possibly the antibiotic. They gave me Benadryl. Then I was moved to my room. Waking up from anesthesia, they say sometimes that you can get upset and start crying, which happened to me. I was in the hospital for 5 days. They tried to kick me out sooner. I talk about this in the rudest and most outrageous things doctors have told me. You guys can go give that a watch and see what one knee surgeon who was not my doctor told me. I had amazing nurses. I was given pain medication, Norco, Tramadol. Tramadol was really bad. It made me nauseous. I did not like that. And I was in the hospital during the 4th of July, so I was able to celebrate and see all the fireworks through my amazing window and suite that I was given. When I finally went home, the hardest part was getting in the car and getting inside my house. Luckily, my family installed a handrail on the side of my stairs to help me hold on and be able to get up with my knee brace onto my bed. I had an at-home nurse come and change my dressing, just do some light stretches and workouts, which I wasn't able to handle fully because my knee was still swollen. And this is what happens when you get surgery with a pre-existing condition that a lot of people don't understand. It takes a lot more effort and work and healing time. I had to be off my methotrexate for a month and I didn't feel anything different because I was on the pain meds, which helped a lot. And around the 5th or 6th week not being on my injection, I started to feel it and I was able to start my medicine. That slowly kicked in and I started to feel better. Then I was sent to outpatient therapy. This is the part where I want to stress. A lot of people want to push their knee to get to a certain goal within a certain amount of time. For me, my knee did not like that. It did not like being pounded on, forced to bend. It retaliated actually and got more swollen, and the next day I wasn't able to do a lot with a therapist. Eventually, after 6 months, I was let go. I still was using my cane at the 6-month mark. By the 7th month, I fully let go of it. And when I say I was using it up until the 6-month mark, it was more like a crutch. I just would bring it with me. I was able to walk on my own at that point, but it was scary and it took me some time. I did have a walker for the first few weeks. That helped. I ended up getting it from a rental place where people donate walkers, and so I ended up donating it back for someone who may need it. I kept my cane and I got it from Walgreens. I liked my cane. It was inexpensive. The thing that I would tell you guys is to bring the cane to your physical therapist so they can adjust it to your height, which is helpful. I was told to use a CPM machine. It's a continuous passive motion machine. I talk about this in the article and blog post I mentioned, the Dynasplints. That was for flexion and extension, straining and bending. I don't recommend those because I later learned from the functional manual therapist that was locking parts of my body. Functional manual therapy was developed by the Institute of Physical Art. I'm going to read the definition and post it here in the corner. Functional manual therapy is an integrative evaluation and treatment approach that optimizes function by improving total body mobility, strength, and coordination. When I started to see this type of therapist, which was recommended to me by the same rheumatologist that told me to go see an orthopedic surgeon immediately, they evaluated everything from head to toe. When I got there, it was about 8 months out for my knee surgery, and when I was walking, I would drag my leg. They found that I wasn't moving my hip fully, my ankle was jammed, and a bunch of other things. So in addition to what they did and my osteopath, I was able to fully move my leg with my body. They adjusted parts of my back, my sacrum, my tailbone that was really jammed up. If you have a functional manual therapist in your area, I hands down recommend them. There are other things too, like the X10 machine. I came across PJ when I was having quite a lot of trouble in regular physical therapy. They were telling me this is all we can get you at. When I saw another therapist who was a functional manual therapist, she found that between my femur and tibia, there was a spot that wouldn't move. It probably is a bunch of scar tissue in the area. Whenever she would manipulate that, it would jump all the way up from 100 degrees to 115. On a bad day, my knee bends 90 to 95. Right now, my knee needs physical therapy again. After this pandemic, I was supposed to start up again with therapy. This pandemic screwed over my plans with that because I was supposed to start physical therapy in March. My physical therapist said, if you ever feel that your knee's starting to get a little wonky and you just need a tune-up, come in. Right now, my knee bending is at 90, but I feel on a bad day it could be at 75. I still can't get up from a very low lawn chair. I can get up from my car, from a chair, my toilet seat, and a bunch of other things. I also had to make modifications within my home. I got an orthopedic bed, which allows me to raise the head and the foot area, and elevating, icing, resting was super important during my knee recovery. Making my bed medium height so I wouldn't have to strain myself getting up from bed or even getting in bed at night. I highly suggest investing in cupping sets. These two that you see on the screen here, I will link in the description box below. I believe one of them is still available on Amazon. I'm not too sure about the other one. I had physical therapists use these exact ones on me during my therapy sessions. They are tremendous help to loosen up specific spots in and around your knee, on the quad, the hamstring, calf muscle. Anywhere you need it, it will help. And you can use these in the comfort of your own home, which is why I bought them. In addition to that, it's important to stretch, and I have a stretch out strap, which I learned about at physical therapy too. Basically, every product I own for my knee, I learned from professionals. This strap, hands down, is the best. Foam rollers have helped. I have all different sizes. I have a circular one, a half one, even this small one where you can place your knee on. I have a plunger, yes, a plunger. This helps mobilize the patella, which for me tends to get stuck sometimes because of the scar. I basically put my knee on this and put lotion on my knee, put lotion on this, and then push down and it suctions it, and then you push it up, and then you move your kneecap around and you might hear it pop and click, and that's just air releasing from the joint, and I'm able to move my knee a lot freer. Physical therapists have done this as well during my appointments for me when they found that my knee was a little jammed. Investing in little massage rollers like this, I don't know what brand this is, but I got it in some box. I have another one too. If you have a family member or a friend or a loved one do this for you, it feels a lot better than doing it on yourself. I can't stress enough how important stretching and massaging the muscles out around the knee is. You will find it really helpful if you do this, and your range of motion will continue to improve. I have to caution you guys, don't compare yourself to others. Your body and your knee will heal on its own time. I had so many people tell me a year out of knee surgery, you're still healing? Yeah, I am. And there's nothing to be ashamed of. My biggest advice is to not fall into the comparison trap. Easier said than done, I know. This happened to me in the beginning when I went for physical therapy. I would look over at the person next to me who had done a total knee replacement as well, and they were already able to do things that I wasn't able to do until a year and a half out, like making a full circle back and forth on a bike. I wasn't able to do that until after a year, almost 2 years actually. Did I feel bad about that? Sure, but then I realized that my knee needed time. This is what I tell a lot of people, even with rheumatoid arthritis. It took a long time for your body to get to this sick state. And it took a long time for my knee to become bone on bone. I had 4 years of knee damage and dealing with that prior to surgery. So you can expect half of that time to be added on to your healing after surgery. I didn't use an ice machine. This has helped many people. I decided to use the gentle ice packs from the hospital and a brand called Cold One, which has always helped me. It was a godsend, honestly, before knee surgery. And the biggest help was making my bathroom arthritis friendly. As you see here, my family installed rails in my shower to help me get in and out easier. I still have them and they still help. I had a shower chair too, which helped a lot. I also made sure that my sink handle was arthritis friendly for my hands, because the last thing that I wanted was to deal with things that weren't easy for me to do on my upper body, which has a lot of damage. When you are recovering from knee surgery, you need to use your upper body a lot. And that can be in many forms, whether that is getting up from a chair or bed to grasp your walker, hold your cane, any exercises at physical therapy. So I wanted to make my life a little easier. We have these light switches that have been here before I had knee surgery, and the only thing that I would have to change in my bathroom is the doorknob. The doorknob is not arthritis friendly. I want one of those that kind of goes down and up. I don't know what it's called. The biggest help of all was installing a toilet seat raiser. This helped me when I didn't have that 90-degree bending that is needed to get up from a chair or a toilet. Another thing that I did to prepare myself, which helped a ton, was to get clothing that was comfortable. I had these culotte pants from years ago that I never gave away, and if you can invest in wide-legged pants or capris, that will be awesome. Get some clothes that you can wear to physical therapy that make you happy. Buy bright colors, buy cute slogans, make yourself motivated. I also bought a fanny pack where I could put all my little things in it, and ever since 2016 I fell in love with my fanny packs all over again, like it was the 80s and the 90s when I grew up. Investing in good gym shoes. I had to give a lot of heels and shoes away after knee surgery because it's not good to wear high heels all the time. Can you get away with it once in a while? Yeah, I still have 2.5-inch heels, which I may wear one day when I go out and just bring flats. But for the majority of my shoes that I had, I did a lot of spring cleaning before knee surgery because they just weren't for me anymore. I threw out all my old shoes that I was wearing prior to knee surgery because I learned that your footprint can affect you. What that means is prior to knee surgery, your gait is different. Okay, so I was limping and my footprint matched that limp. After knee surgery, I wasn't limping anymore. My leg was straight, my foot was put in a different position. And so you don't want to wear old shoes that have your old footprint in it. You want new shoes. I recommend going to barkingdogsshoes.com. This was started by someone who has rheumatoid arthritis. She talks about her story being a teacher, being on her feet, how RA affected her feet, and how she decided to start reviewing all types of shoes. Really, check out this website and you will find cute options. My favorite gym shoe brands that I used were Brooks, New Balance, and I heard great things about Adidas, Asics, and there's a forum and message board on Facebook, and someone had asked about the best gym shoes for rheumatoid arthritis and shoes in general. I'm going to link this here in the description box. If anyone's on Facebook and you guys want to check it out, there's 80 to 200 responses. I also love my Birkenstocks, Dansko, Abio, there's Crocs, so many brands out there that have cute shoes. Teva, I'm a big fan of wearing shoes that have ankle support. I ditched my Old Navy $3 flip-flops long ago. I know it was sad to part with them, but they weren't doing anything for my knee or my feet. And make sure you take the time to pick an orthopedic surgeon that you feel comfortable with. Before I decided to go with the person who did my surgery, I was thinking of going with 2 other people. I followed my intuition and how I felt with this particular surgeon and how he made me feel. He made me laugh. He made me uplifted and positive. Lastly, have fun with it. I know that sounds weird when we are talking about getting a serious surgery done, but decorate your cane, decorate your walker, put some flowers in your surgery room, have family members there or a good friend visit you. Make it a good experience for yourself. No matter, even if you have some bad days, find some gratitude or something to be thankful for. If you made some improvement at physical therapy, even if it's the smallest thing, like your knee moving 1 degree, or you were able to get up easier from a chair, celebrate that, treat yourself, which I did all the time after physical therapy. I went and got ice cream because my first few months of rehab was during the summer, which I don't want to do knee surgery again in the summertime. Alright guys, that's all I have for this video. I hope you found it informative, and feel free to reach out if you have any questions in the comments below this video or even over on my Instagram privately where I'm most active. Until next time, bye!